Adam Maripos Vox here, and I just stopped pretty much everything that I was doing when this thought entered my head to record this commentary, as I wanted to make sure I got all of my thoughts out as quickly as possible before they faded from my feeble memory. And in this video, I'm going to talk about why gameplay commentaries in the life topics, connection, deep discussion, inspirational stuff, aka what I call the CNanners commentary, has essentially died out on YouTube in terms of popularity and in terms of specific YouTubers, like CNanners, actually doing them. For context, there's probably plenty of newer YouTube viewers who have no idea what this might be. YouTube is a drastically different scene on the gaming side of things than it was 4 or so years ago, even. Used to, instead of the let's play reaction cam face hitting my microphone, reaction cam, face cam, live stream-esque content and funny moments and that kind of thing was a lot less popular. Used to, the main, backbone content type was actually gameplay commentaries. We still have some of those, but nowadays they focus more on discussions within the gaming community themselves, as well as news events and people just reading patch notes and stupid stuff like that, and raging about the same game that they're dedicating their entire channel to playing, but then encouraging people not to give money to, because somehow that makes any sense. Used to, we talked and we watched videos about life. We watched commentaries about what we thought in our brains about life, about relationships, about interacting with other people, about philosophical ideas. And something I'm guilty of doing a lot is going back and still rewatching some of those old videos that I connected with a lot and, commenting on them, like a lot of CNanners' videos. Like, I wish that commentary style was still around from him because I still connect with him. The question arises that BBK Dragoon and I sometimes ask each other is, why did that die off? And I think I figured it out, at least the answer for me that I'm comfortable saying is the answer. Generally the TLDR version is that things change and things aren't the way they were anymore, and that's kind of the obvious answer. But how specifically does that work? Well, if you haven't seen CNanners' latest Call of Duty commentary, which he went back and redid one over one of his videos from 2011, I suggest you go watch it. It's kind of rambly and it kind of bounces back and forth between topics. It gets kind of stressful if you're trying to follow along with what he's saying. But if you just kind of lean back, relax, and just listen to him talk and listen to his thoughts flow, it's kind of enjoyable to watch. I'll link it in the description below and the YouTube card icon and all that stuff. He kind of explains it. It gets buried in all of his other ramblings, but he kind of explains that it was interesting for him when he did this commentary to go back and look at those videos from that part of his life, because the reason he talks so much about those topics and shared those thoughts in those commentaries was that that's what he was going through at the time. Like, he was in a position where he needed to connect with other people. He had all these thoughts built up in his head that he needed to share and he wanted to talk about, and that's how most of his commentaries started. Like, he didn't have a regular content schedule of, I need to put out 3 to 5 videos a week. What am I going to talk about today? It was more, I want to ramble about, I have some thoughts circling in my head that I want to get out, so I'm going to record a commentary. But that he's generally a more reserved person and he generally doesn't share his thoughts. But through that period of his life, things were changing a lot and he was a lot more, he needed to connect with people and to share those thoughts. And the same thing kind of happened with a lot of us and a lot of us as viewers. Like, that was during a very pinnacle time in my life through the end of high school and the start of college for me, where I desperately needed to connect with someone through that way, and CNanners' commentaries were a great way to pull me out of a very dark rut and to, really connect with someone and relate to someone. And so that's why the commentary, that content stuck so well with me. But it's always a very limited audience because there's only so many people going through that at the exact same point in time. Now, I'm still able to go back and watch those commentaries and feel the same things that I feel, and I still got some of those feelings back whenever he made the new commentary. But that's because I already connected with him for so long. Like, I've enjoyed those videos for years and years that I can rewatch those commentaries and be there. But I myself got to a point where I stopped looking for and watching other channels that did commentaries. Like, at one point in my life, if there wasn't new CNanners videos, I would go look for other gameplay commentaries of other people talking about life, because I wanted to see what other people had to say on their lives, on, these deeper discussion topics, on these just ramblings inside their heads, for me to connect with them. And that's what a lot of other viewers did too back then. But we kind of grew up with people like CNanners and other people of us that did that, we just kind of grew up as time went by, and those things no longer became what we needed out of communicating with other people. Instead, we just wanted to focus on games, and that's kind of how the YouTube scene shifted on the whole. But really, I got to the point where I literally unsubbed from tons of gaming channels that I was subscribed to, simply because I just kind of got to a point where I, almost overnight, but I mean it was over the course of multiple months or multiple years, but I just got to the point where I no longer cared what was going on in these people's lives, what they thought about internally, what their philosophical rants were about. I just no longer cared. That wasn't what I wanted to watch, and I'm unsubbed from a ton of channels that I used to watch very regularly because of that, and that just happens. And while there's still plenty of people who can now go back and watch those videos and connect with them as they're going through that point in their lives, that was always a very limited audience, as I was saying a minute ago, because there's only so many people at any point in time going through that kind of phase in their life, whereas generally just playing video games and talking about video games and, you know, having funny moments has a much stronger mass appeal and general viewer base than talking about your first girlfriend or your first love and all that stuff. And so to a degree, it sucks. Like, again, I would love to sit here and still have new CNanners commentaries that I could connect with, that I could get feelings that, frankly, I can't put into words what they bring out in my brain that makes me so happy to sit here and watch him ramble on about some random topic in his life and connect with him. But I'm not going to go support other channels doing that, because there's still other people doing that are probably struggling to find an audience, but I'm not going to go watch them because I'm not in a place where I feel comfortable with, nor do I need to find someone else like that to connect with. I don't want to make that intimate investment of my time and connection energy, so I'm not going to do it. And that's essentially what has happened across all of YouTube. So that is the death of the more personal gameplay commentary, and that's why I think it happened and why I think it's not something that's just going to come back or anything like that. There are still plenty of channels that do that and still will have a tightly knit community, but that generally ranges from like 200 subscribers to 2,000 subscribers. Now, with a tight-knit community and stuff like that, that's, you know, subscriber count isn't hugely important, but again, those channels aren't going to take off on that content. Same thing was seen in CNanners' commentaries. While, yeah, he was a huge channel because he was one of the first, his channel grew exponentially quicker by doing the more face cam, reaction cam, Gary's mod stuff, and now he makes bajillions of dollars just kind of playing video games, and we can't blame him for that. So, hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, smash the like button. Leave me your thoughts down below. I really want to know what your thoughts are on this. This is something that's been the only real content type that I feel like making most of the time on this gaming channel anyway. I thought it was appropriate to talk about this in a gameplay commentary instead of a vlog, since we're talking about gameplay commentaries. But thank you for watching. Comment, like, subscribe, and I will see you in some other future video at some point.